Hip-hop has always had beef. That's part of the culture. Back then, beef in hip-hop typically started from street rap battles. Two rappers start arguing, somebody's ego gets hurt, a diss track comes out, then another one, then social media gets involved, and before you know it, something that started as music has become a real-life conflict. Today, territorial gang wars have spread into the music and become a bed for rap beefs, leaving a lot of people hurt, or worse, dead.
Rapper was killed this morning.
So we're counting down 10 beefs or conflicts that ended in the death of popular rappers or hip-hop figures. Number 10, Scott LaRock. On August 27, 1987, hip-hop was still in its formative years when Scott Monroe Sterling, known to the world as DJ Scott LaRock, became one of the genre's first high-profile casualties. As the co-founder of Boogie Down Productions alongside KRS-One, LaRock helped craft Criminal Minded, a seminal album that codified subgenres like hip-hop journalism and early street rap aesthetics. The conflict that took his life wasn't a rap rivalry, but a localized street dispute. One of his crew members, D Nice, had gotten into an argument with local men over a personal relationship in the South Bronx. LaRock, acting as a mediator, drove to the High Bridge neighborhood in a red Jeep to diffuse the tension peacefully. As they sat in the vehicle, gunfire erupted from a nearby building, striking LaRock in the head. He died later that night in the operating room. LaRock's murder established a haunting variable. Success in the booth rarely shields an artist from street politics. His death prompted KRS-One to launch the Stop the Violence movement and produce the classic anthem, Self-Destruction.
Shootout out there in the Bronx, stop the violence.
And what happened was Scott was trying to be a peacemaker between
Between D-Nice and this guy, and things just got out of hand.
Shortly after the incident, police arrested two suspects, Corey Bain and Kendall Newland. However, during the 1988 trial, key prosecution witnesses altered their testimony, and defense attorneys argued a case of mistaken identity. Both men were acquitted of second-degree murder charges by a Bronx jury, leaving the case legally unsolved. Number 9, Tupac Shakur. The September 7, 1996 shooting of Tupac Shakur stands as the most culturally significant homicide in hip-hop history. Tupac was attending the Mike Tyson vs. Bruce Seldon boxing match at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, accompanied by Death Row Records CEO Marion Suge Knight. Prior to this night, tensions between Death Row Records on the West Coast and Bad Boy Entertainment on the East Coast had reached a boiling point, fueled by diss tracks like Hit 'Em Up and Who Shot Ya. However, the trigger for the murder occurred in the MGM Grand lobby, where Tupac and his entourage confronted and physically assaulted Orlando "Baby" Lane Anderson, a member of the Southside Compton Crips. Hours later, while stopped at a red light on Flamingo Road, a white Cadillac pulled alongside Knight's BMW and opened fire, striking Tupac 4 times. He succumbed to his injuries 6 days later. Tupac's murder is a textbook example of corporate-backed rap beef colliding directly with active gang rivalries. For nearly 3 decades, the case yielded no formal convictions, and Orlando Anderson, the primary shooter suspect, was killed in an unrelated gang shooting in 1998. However, in September 2023, law enforcement arrested Dwayne "Keefe D. Davis, Anderson's uncle, and a self-proclaimed Southside Crip leader. Davis was formally charged with murder with a deadly weapon with a gang enhancement, with prosecutors relying heavily on Davis's own public statements and memoirs outlining his role in organizing the drive-by shooting, like in this interview he did with DJ Vlad.
He leaned over on the window, we rolled down the window, popped.
Number 8, the notorious B.I.G. Just 6 months after Tupac's murder, on March 9, 1997, Christopher Wallace, the notorious B.I.G., was in Los Angeles to attend the Soul Train Music Awards and promote his upcoming album, ironically titled Life After Death. After leaving an after-party at the Peterson Automotive Museum, Wallace was riding in the passenger seat of a GMC Suburban when a Chevrolet Impala pulled alongside his vehicle at a red light on Wilshire Boulevard. An unidentified gunman opened fire, striking Biggie 4 times with armor-piercing 9mm rounds. Law enforcement and investigative journalists generally evaluate Biggie's murder through the lens of retaliation. Not to say that Biggie was directly involved, but widespread speculation showed that for years, a lot of people believed Bad Boy Records, precisely Diddy, masterminded the whole thing. This theory is widely popular because Keffe D was a known associate of Diddy's and worked frequently as security for Bad Boy during the West Coast-East Coast beef, which claimed the lives of both rappers. In fact, Keffe D alleges in his memoirs that P. Diddy hired him to murder Tupac for $1 million, but never paid him so that he couldn't be linked to the whole thing. It's widely believed that Keffe D then retaliated by murdering Biggie as payback for Diddy's unpaid debt, and the theory is supported by both rappers getting killed in a mysteriously similar style. A car pulls alongside the target vehicle and opens fire. This was Keffe D's style. However, this is only speculation, and there's no evidence to support these allegations. And drive-by shootings similar to these are also very popular in street beefs. Despite extensive investigations by the LAPD and the FBI, alongside widespread theories involving corrupt LAPD officers and Suge Knight, no perpetrator was ever formally charged or convicted for Christopher Wallace's murder. The homicide remains officially unsolved, and a federal civil rights lawsuit filed by Wallace's family was dismissed without prejudice in 2010. Number 7. Big L. Lamont Coleman, known professionally as Big L, was one of the most technically gifted lyricists to emerge from Harlem during the 1990s. As a core member of the DITC crew, he was on the verge of signing a major deal with Damon Dash's Rockefeller Records. On February 15, 1999, Coleman was ambushed on 139th Street in Danger Zone, a specific pocket of Harlem he frequented, and shot 9 times in the face and chest. Investigators revealed that Big L was likely not the primary target of the hit. Instead, the shooting was reportedly a retaliatory strike aimed at his brother Lee, who was embroiled in local street beefs but was incarcerated at the time. Big L's death underscores the concept of guilt by proximity in street-fueled music careers. Shortly after the murder, the NYPD arrested Gerard Woodley, a childhood friend of Big L. However, the Manhattan District Attorney's Office ultimately dropped second-degree murder charges due to a lack of willing snitches and insufficient physical evidence. Woodley spent time in federal prison on unrelated weapons charges before being gunned down on the exact same Harlem street in 2016, leaving Big L's murder case closed without a conviction. Number 6. Lil JoJo. In September 2012, 18-year-old Joseph Coleman, also known as Lil JoJo, was shot and killed while riding a bicycle in the Inglewood neighborhood of Southside Chicago. Lil JoJo was a central figure in the emergence of Chicago drill, a dark, hyper-local subgenre defined by low-fidelity production and stark, violent, self-snitching lyricism. JoJo released a viral diss track titled 300K, or simply BDK, Black Disciples Killer,
Say fuck with squad, so I can't wait to catch him.
aimed explicitly at rival gang members and rap figures, including members of Chief Keef's 300 Collective, in response to Chief Keef's 300. This beef has gone on for decades in Chicago, and most of the young generation today has inherited it either by proximity or initiation. And the police alleges that these rap beefs have fueled the city's gang violence. Hours before his murder, JoJo posted a video to social media showing him pulling up and dissing Lil Reese in traffic.
Hey, reach it low. Yeah. What's wrong with you, Hey, I am Brick Squad. Yeah, Brick Squad, bro. What you talking about, bro? Over here.
In the video, you can hear Lil Reese make a death threat towards Lil JoJo, saying that he'd kill him. Hours later, Lil JoJo was murdered. But despite this final threat by Lil Reese and their public beef playing out on Twitter, the Chicago Police Department faced an overwhelming wall of silence. No one was willing to snitch. No suspects were ever formally charged or indicted for Lil JoJo's killing, leaving me with only one question to ask you. Who do you think did it? Number 5. King Von. Davon Bennett, popularly known as King Von, was one of the fastest rising stars in modern hip-hop, gaining massive traction through vivid storytelling that drew heavily on his past on Chicago's South Side, specifically the O Block area. On November 6, 2020, King Von was in Atlanta outside the Monaco Hookah Lounge. A physical altercation broke out between Von's entourage and members of rival rapper Quando Rondo's crew. Within seconds, guns were drawn and an associate of Quando Rondo opened fire, fatally wounding King Von and injuring several others. King Von was signed to Lil Durk's OTF label, which was known to have a boiling beef with NBA Youngboys Collective, to which Quando Rondo belonged, and both factions had frequently dissed and taunted one another on social media and in diss tracks. Within 24 hours of the incident, Atlanta police arrested 22-year-old Timothy Leaks, also known as Lil Tim, while he was recovering in the hospital from gunshot wounds sustained during the shootout. Lil Tim was formally charged with felony murder. However, in August 2023, prosecutors in Georgia dropped all murder charges against him under the state's Stand Your Ground law, ruling that his actions were legally justified defense of another person during the physical fight. Number 4. FBG Duck. Just 3 months prior to King Von's death, on August 4, 2020, Carlton Weekly, better known as FBG Duck, was ambushed in broad daylight while shopping in Chicago's high-end Gold Coast district. FBG Duck was a leader of STL/EBT faction in Chicago and a direct rival of King Von's O-Block crew. Weeks prior to his murder, Duck released a track that explicitly mocked deceased members of rival gangs. A 2-car convoy tracked Duck to Oak Street, where 4 gunmen jumped out and fired 38 rounds, killing Duck and injuring 2 others. Unlike many unsolved hip-hop homicides, FBG Duck's murder resulted in a massive federal prosecution. In August 2021, federal agents arrested 6 members of the O-Block Street faction, including Marcus Smart, also known as Moochie, and Charles Litchford, also known as C. Murder. In January 2024, following a high-stakes federal trial, all 6 defendants were found guilty on multiple counts, including murder in aid of racketeering, conspiracy to commit murder, and weapons offenses. Under federal guidelines, racketeering-related murder carries a mandatory sentence of life imprisonment without parole. Number 3. Young Dolph. On November 17, 2021, Adolph Thornton Jr., better known as Young Dolph, was shot and killed inside Makeda's homemade butter cookies in his hometown of Memphis, Tennessee. Dolph was a flagship figure for independent hip-hop, building an empire with his Paper Route Empire label while explicitly refusing major label deals. However, his rise was mirrored by an intense multi-year feud with rival Memphis rap factions, particularly those connected to Yo Gotti's collective music group, CMG. Dolph had previously survived 2 separate assassination attempts in 2017. One in Charlotte, where his vehicle was hit with over 100 rounds, and another outside a Hollywood hotel. Young Dolph's violent murder is believed to have been triggered by a successful independent financial autonomy, or, in simple terms, jealousy.
Cut my day one nigga off because of jealousy.
Following an extensive investigation, law enforcement identified a murder-for-hire plot. Authorities arrested primary shooters Justin Johnson, also known as Straight Drop, who was sentenced to life in prison, and Cornelia Smith, who took a plea deal and received a reduced 20-year prison sentence for cooperating and testifying, alongside Hernandez Govan, who was charged with organizing the hit but eventually walked free after a Shelby County jury found him not guilty. Number 2. Draco the Ruler. On December 18, 2021, Darrell Caldwell, popularly known as Draco the Ruler, was backstage at the Once Upon a Time in LA festival at the Bank of California Stadium, where he was scheduled to perform alongside artists like Snoop Dogg and 50 Cent. Before taking the stage, Draco was confronted by a massive group of up to 40 people associated with rival Los Angeles street gangs. A chaotic backstage brawl ensued, during which he was stabbed in the neck. He died from his injuries hours later. Fans blame Draco's murder on severe security failures at major live events, where venue management failed to separate beefing regional gangs in backstage spaces. Despite the brawl taking place in front of dozens of potential snitches, witnesses, and being captured on multiple cell phone videos, the chaotic nature of the crowd made identifying the specific individual who delivered the fatal stab wound difficult. While police conducted numerous interviews, no suspects have been formally charged with the murder of Draco the Ruler, leaving his family to pursue wrongful death lawsuits against festival promoters Live Nation. Number 1. Julio Fulio. On June 23, 2024, Charles Jones, known professionally as Julio Fulio, was fatally shot in a hotel parking lot in Tampa, Florida, while celebrating his 26th birthday. Fulio was a central figure in Jacksonville's gang war between the KTA coalition and the rival ATK group. This regional beef had claimed dozens of lives over nearly a decade, heavily driven by diss tracks like When I See You. Fulio had survived multiple previous shooting attempts before shooters tracked his social media locations to Tampa, ambushing his vehicle with high-powered rifles and firing multiple rounds through the windscreen, ultimately ending his life and injuring several others during the chaos. To this day, people wonder why Julio Fulio felt that it was safe to share his location so publicly, yet we've seen before, like in the case of Pop Smoke in 2020, how one's location being revealed, even accidentally, could easily result into their death.
We came deep my birthday, man. Everybody coming in the stairs. No cap, man. You know what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Deep as hell.
Perhaps he wanted to show his ops that he wasn't afraid of them after surviving several assassination attempts, or maybe he forgot he had ops, or was it the angel of death that forced his hand? I don't know. But following these events, state and local law enforcement moved rapidly, arresting 4 suspects tied to the ATK/1200 factions: Isaiah Chance, Sean Gathright, Davion Murphy, and Rashad Murphy. Prosecutors charged all 4 men with first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and attempted murder. All 4 perpetrators were sentenced to mandatory life in prison without the possibility of parole, marking one of the fastest legal resolutions in modern drill music homicides.
Mr. Gathright, on count 1, I will adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to life without the possibility of parole. You also have a 20-year minimum mandatory.
And there you have it, 10 rappers whose deaths are believed to have been the result of street beef. What began as unsolved drive-bys in the 90s has shifted toward federal RICO indictments and digital forensics tracking today. Young rappers are making it easier for the feds to catch on, with all this self-snitching they're doing on social media and in diss tracks. That's like stealing a piece of chicken from the pot and walking around the house with chicken grease all on your mouth. I don't know, man, I'm tired and sleepy. But before I go, to all the young black people out there, let's please stop killing each other. And until then, see you in the next one.